Good morning, everyone. We're sorry for the delay, but we are ready to begin. I'd just like to say welcome. I'm Tremaine Wright, Chair of the Cannabis Control Board. It's great to be here with everyone for our first meeting of the year. I hope everyone had a wonderful holiday season and that you're ready for everything that we've got planned for you this coming year. Recognizing that we have a majority of the board members present or participating remotely, I'm pleased to call to order another meeting of the Cannabis Control Board and to welcome all of you who are participating here in person and or via real live stream. As always, the meeting will be recorded and a transcript will be available to the public on the Office of Cannabis Management's website, which is cannabis.ny.gov. And additional information on the Cannabis Control Board meetings is also available on that OCM website. Today's agenda, at this time I am going to ask if we can please adopt an amended agenda, which would read as follows. Welcome and brief remarks, a review and approval of the meeting minutes from the Cannabis Control Board meeting on December 21st, consideration of a member disclosure resolution, consideration of adult use retail dispensary licenses, consideration of adult use conditional processor licenses, consideration of cannabis laboratory testing permits, consideration of revised medical cannabis regulations, consideration of bylaws, consideration of candidate for general counsel, consideration of office staff disclosure resolution. I think that might have issued twice, sorry. A report from the Office of Cannabis Management's Executive Director, Chris Alexander, a public, and then we'll follow with public comments, and thereafter we'll adjourn. May I please have a motion to adopt the amended agenda?
I move we adopt.
All in favor? Aye. Nay, all opposed? Do I hear them or not hear them?
Are they on?
Board Member Perry.
Aye.
Okay. Board Member
Jenkins Gilbert.
Oh, sorry, I thought I had said aye. I might have clicked the mute too fast.
Thank you. Okay, so on December 29th, the first adult use cannabis retail dispensary opened in Manhattan. And this week, our second card dispensary opened. It is owned by a justice-involved individual, and the business is operating at a location identified and provided by the Social Equity Cannabis Fund. This marks another advancement for the Seeding Opportunity Initiative, which is how we've been launching the New York market, relying on family farmers, small business owners, and nonprofits. Over the coming weeks, we are anticipating several other dispensary openings throughout the state, so please stay tuned for press releases coming from the office. Today, we will be considering 30 card applicants, 7 conditional processors for licensure, and 5 cannabis laboratory testing permits. Now, let's move on to the review and approval of the meeting minutes from the December 21st, 2002 Cannabis Control Board meeting. May I please have a motion to consider and approve the December 21st, 2022 board meeting minutes?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Is there any discussion from the board member, any board member regarding these minutes? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Opposed and abstentions? I don't think I've heard any. I think I heard everyone. The motion to approve the December 20. Okay, thank you.
Sorry,
So we have
I
one
abstained 'cause
abstention.
I wasn't there.
Thank you. So the motion to approve the December 21st, 2022 board meeting motion carries. Now, before we go much further into today's agenda, I'd like to introduce our new board member. Dr. Jennifer Gilbert Jenkins has been appointed by the New York State Senate to fill the vacancy and serve on the Cannabis Control Board. She replaces our former member, Jen Metzger. Dr. Gilbert Jenkins is an assistant professor of agricultural science at Morrisville State College. Her work there deals with the sustainable agricultural practices relative to soil health, crop, nutrient, and pest management. Currently, industrial hemp is the central focus of her research, evaluating production practices to make hemp a successful component of crop rotations in New York State. And our first order of business today will consider a resolution to allow board member Jennifer Gilbert Jenkins to hold other public offices identified in the resolution while serving as a cannabis board member. Pursuant to Article 2 of Section 7.7 of the Cannabis Law, the board can grant permission to a board member to allow them to hold other public office. You know what? I'm sorry. I feel like I just skipped ahead here. We were reviewing. Yes, I'm sorry. I didn't. It's fine. May I please have a motion to consider the resolution number 2023-01? It's a resolution permitting Dr. Jennifer Gilbert Jenkins to hold the public offices of Associate Professor of Agriculture at the State University of New York, Morrisville, Hemp Fiber and Grain Work Group member, New York State Department of Agriculture and Markets and Sustainability Work Group member in the town of Casanova.
I move approval.
May I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Dr. Gilbert Jenkins, would you like to add any remarks?
I'm just really excited to be representing some of the agricultural interests in the state on the board and some of the academic and research interests. And I look forward to the work we have to do together.
Excellent. Thank you. And welcome again. We're excited to have you. And if there aren't any other comments, the motion to approve, I'm sorry, we did just vote. So the motion to approve the resolution 2023, resolution permitting Dr. Jennifer Gilbert Jenkins to hold the public office of Associate Professor of Agriculture, State University of New York, Morrisville, Hemp Fiber and Grain Work Group member. Oh, I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm totally jumping ahead today. I'm sorry about that. I'm going to call for a vote for us to approve this resolution first. All in favor? Aye. Thank you. The motion is passing, and the motion to approve, it carries. Thank you very much. I'm sorry, I'm getting very much ahead of myself today. Considering the next order of business, may I please have a motion to consider resolution number 2023-02? It's a resolution issuing certain conditional adult use retail dispensary licenses.
Madam Chair, prior to the motion, I'm going to excuse myself.
Thank you. We have a recusal. May I have a motion to consider this resolution?
So moved.
And may I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. I'm hearing your voice, but I can't acknowledge it. Sorry. It has to be a board member, but thank you. I appreciate it. Before we begin the discussion of this resolution, we've had a recuse. I just wanted to acknowledge that into the record. And at this time, I wanted to ask our Executive Director, Chris Alexander, provide a brief overview of the card applicants before the board today.
Yes, Madam Chair. Thank you so much, and welcome everybody who is joining us both in person and virtually. We are so excited to continue to roll out this card program, being able to afford opportunities to those who've been directly impacted by marijuana prohibitions enforcement. We have 30 applicants before you today for licensure. There's more licensees or applicants under review for licensure, and we'll continue to roll out the program, but I just want to give a quick point to yesterday's opening of one of our first qualified business applicants opening a location yesterday. We're really just so excited to see these folks get up and running, and really excited to see the rest of the program roll out. So no further comments, Madam Chair.
Okay. Thank you. Is there any discussion related to these proposed licensees? Okay, hearing none. I'll call for the vote. Dr. Gilbert Jenkins?
Approve.
Ms. Garcia?
Approve. Aye, sorry.
Mr. Perry? We can't hear you, Mr. Perry.
I vote aye.
Oh, thank you. And I vote in the affirmative as well. Therefore, the motion to approve Resolution Number 2023-02, a resolution issuing certain conditional adult use retail dispensary licenses, carries. I think you can allow Ruben, somebody can let Ruben know that we're finished with that, please. It wasn't in there, but I just wanted to offer the opportunity to say something about it because we said something about everybody else. Why are they being? Okay, now concerning our next order of business, may I please have a motion to consider Resolution Number 2023-03, the resolution issuing certain adult use conditional processor licenses.
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
Okay. And I will briefly ask our Executive Director to provide just some background and highlights on the applicants before us, please.
Absolutely. So, Madam Chair, the Seating Opportunity Initiative, the processing stage is a key component of that. We have already licensed processors across the state who are making some incredible products for New Yorkers. We are excited to advance these additional applicants for licensure who will continue to expand the types of products that New Yorkers have access to. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you. Is there any comment, questions from any board members regarding the processor licensees? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. Dr. Gilbert Jenkins?
Aye.
Ms. Garcia?
Aye.
Mr. McDaniel?
Aye.
Mr. Perry?
Aye.
And I vote in the affirmative as well. The motion to approve Resolution Number 2023-03, resolution issuing certain adult use conditional processor licenses, carries. Okay, concerning all next order of business, may I please have a motion to consider Resolution Number 2023-04, a resolution approving certain cannabis laboratory permit holders.
So moved.
I have a motion. May I get a second?
Second.
Thank you. And before this, we vote on this resolution, I'd like to ask Nicole Quackenbush, OCM's Director of Health and Safety, to provide an overview of the cannabis laboratory permit holders before us today.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and good morning, everyone. As a reminder, with the emergency regulations that went into effect on August 16th, the office opened an application window that remains open until March 31st of 2023 this year for laboratories who are interested in conducting medical and adult use cannabis testing to apply. Since our November 21st meeting, where the board approved 3 new laboratories, the office has received applications from 6 additional laboratories. At this time, today, we have 5 of the 6 applicants that have met the testing facility and staffing requirements in order to be considered by the board for permitting in accordance with the emergency regulations. Those laboratories include Botanis Labs of New York, located in Suffolk County, Certified Testing and Data, located in Albany County, MCR Labs, New York, located in Oneida County, DRS Testing, located in Erie County, and Green Analytics in Rockland County. If the board approves to permit these 5 new laboratories today, they will need to complete their demonstration of capability to the satisfaction of the office before they can begin testing. As a reminder to all, not all labs perform the same scope of testing. Information regarding the types of tests that laboratories can be performed is posted on our website. I would like to thank the team for their work on reviewing these thorough applications as we work to make safer products available to New Yorkers. Having sufficient lab testing capacity continues to be crucial to the launch of this new market in New York State. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions, comments, or discussion from any board members? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. Dr. Gilbert Jenkins,
Aye.
Ms. Garcia,
Aye.
Mr. McDaniel,
Aye.
Mr. Perry,
Aye.
and I vote in affirmative as well. The motion to approve resolution number 2023-04, resolution approving certain cannabis laboratory permit holders, carries. Now, our next order of business, we'll have a motion to consider resolution number 2023-05, the resolution approving certain medical cannabis regulations. May I have a motion to, may I have that motion, please?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
Yes. And before we vote, I'll ask Ms. Quackenbush to provide an overview of these regulations before us, please.
Thank you again, Madam Chair. The 45-day public comment period for the revised medical cannabis regulations ended on September 19th of 2022. The office reviewed the comments received, and as a result, no substantial changes were made from that public comment period. One of the key changes that was included in this package that I would like to refresh is the streamlining of the patient registration process. This streamlined process will allow for patients to be auto-registered at the time that the practitioner certifies them for the use of medical cannabis. Much like a normal prescription process, the patient will then be able to take their certification from their practitioner's office directly to a dispensing site to purchase medical cannabis from a registered organization. Patients will no longer be required to file a separate registration with the office before they can access medical cannabis. If the Cannabis Control Board votes to adopt these regulations today, the regulations will take effect after they are published in the New York State Register. This is anticipated for February 15th of this year. However, the team continues to work on the changes that are needed to the medical cannabis data management system that will help facilitate this auto-registration process. These changes are expected to be completed shortly after the adoption of the regulations and making auto-registration available by late March of 2023, this year. The office will provide future communication with additional information when this is ready to launch. Thank you, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you. Are there any questions, discussion, comments?
Madam Chair, I just want to express my pleasure that we're finally advancing these regulations and allowing medical patients to actually be able to access medical cannabis in an expedient way. They've been waiting a long time to have this auto authorization process put in place, and I know it's going to make a world of difference to them as well as to the staff that's helping the pharmacists who are trying to just get medication into the hands of patients who really need it.
Excellent. Thank you. Yes.
Yes, Madam Chair, I'm also supportive of this resolution. I think it's great to get the medical program another step and be more efficient. In reviewing these regulations, there are a couple of technical changes we might want to make at a later date.
Yes.
I'll bring those to the board, but they do not substantially change the program. Therefore, I'm fully supportive of doing this now.
Thank
because
you.
It's important we do it in an expedient way.
And just to share from advice of counsel, we are able to make those technical changes on this draft, and it will not require any additional comments. So we are able, in what we're passing now, we're able to add the technical changes.
Excellent.
Yes. Thank you. Any other comments? Okay. Hearing none, I'll call for the vote.
For clarification, does that mean,
Yes, Dr. Gilbert Jenkins?
Jermaine, for clarification, does that mean that does that mean that the technical terminology changes that we've been discussing can change? We can vote and then change that later. Is that what is meant?
Yes, we can make the change. We can pass this with the agreement that we are going to make the necessary technical changes. Yeah, so it would be an amendment to the motion that is before us. And if you don't mind, I would appreciate if someone would make that motion at this time.
So moved.
So we have a motion. Can we get a second?
A second.
We have a second. Is there any discussion, further discussion or comments? None. Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. Dr. Gilbert Jenkins,
Aye.
Ms. Garcia,
Aye.
Mr. McDaniel,
Aye.
Mr. Perry,
Aye.
and I vote in the affirmative as well. The motion to approve Resolution Number 2023-05, the resolution approving certain medical cannabis regulations with the agreed-upon technical changes, carries. Our next item on the agenda for consideration is the Executive Director's recommendation for General Counsel. May I please have a motion to consider Resolution Number 2023-06, a resolution to approve the appointment of the General Counsel candidate, Linda Baldwin.
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion, questions, or comments by any board members?
Madam Chair?
Yes.
Yeah, I've just heard great things about Ms. Baldwin, and I'm just excited about this candidate. She comes with a great reputation out of Albany, and I'm sure she'll be a wonderful addition, so I welcome Linda, you on board.
Yes. Any
Yeah,
other comments?
I just want to echo that. I had the pleasure of meeting Linda towards the end of the interview process to bring her on board, and was really impressed with her experience and her thought process, and really look forward to working with her.
Yes, I echo that. I was fortunate enough to sit in on that same interview, so I'm very excited. We're really looking forward to having you come on board and getting involved and helping us to continue to move the work of the cannabis industry forward in New York State. So thank you very much. And I know everybody that you're leaving is sad, but we're really excited to have you. Are there any other comments? Okay, hearing none, I'll call for the vote. Dr. Gilbert Jenkins,
Aye.
Ms. Garcia,
Aye.
Mr. McDaniel,
Enthusiastic aye?
Mr. Perry,
Aye.
and I also vote in the affirmative. The resolution number 2023-06, a resolution to approve the appointment of our general counsel, carries. Yes, and at this time, I'm going to ask our executive director to share some remarks about our new general counsel, Linda Baldwin.
Yes, she is. She's here in the room with us today. I'll just wave to everybody. We have a general counsel coming on board who has an incredible tenure of public service to the state of New York. Not only is she currently serving Department of State, leading a lot of work that they do there, but she's already started to give us some pointers onto how to improve things over here at OCM and with the Cannabis Control Board. So we are excited for your leadership. We definitely need you and your wisdom to come and join this team. So really appreciate you taking this leap and joining us on this journey. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, as our agenda was amended to include, we'll have a consideration of the draft bylaws, which each member received in a copy of the email. I do want to provide a moment here so that members could have an opportunity to discuss some of the open issues that are there for them and see how we might be able to move forward in getting this done sooner rather than later. So I do also want to share that a new draft to address some of the open meeting law concerns is forthcoming. You should have it in your mailboxes shortly after this meeting as well.
Madam Chair, for me, I'm excited that we are soon going to have bylaws. I do believe that the bylaws should be reviewed by the General Counsel and just make sure that we're a complex body within a complex agency with powers that sometimes I am confused by what responsibilities are the boards and which is the agency. And I think it does require careful review to make sure that we are honoring the spirit of the law of MRTA. And I would also love to engage in conversation with the board, with you, in terms of our own process for decision making. I have a lot of respect for the members of this board, and I think that we all bring a lot to our work. And I would love to be able to have a set process by which we too arrive at decisions, even internally. And that's not quite spelled out in the current draft. In addition to that, I do think that there are a couple of different pieces that I saw in the draft that are actually counter to what the law states, particularly around quorum, around appointment of certain staff. And so I think we do need to just make sure that the draft that we do finally vote on is clean and isn't going to conflict later on with our work.
Mr. Perry?
Madam Chair, I just want to say I concur with everything that the member just stated. I have practiced law for now almost 30 years, and for over 25 of those years, I have counseled and represented a large number of public bodies, public authorities, local governments, government officials. And in my opinion, these bylaws are absolutely not ready for consideration by the board. We also have to recognize that we have a new member who is the member appointed by the Senate, and she may want to have additional time. Even if she doesn't, I need additional time. There are many things in the bylaws that are confusing. Apparently there was some outside lawyer who, I don't know who it is or what they did, who prepared something. I don't understand that process at all. And to have these bylaws presented today without giving a fair opportunity for notice and an opportunity to be heard and an opportunity to review and to receive the advice of our own counsel, I think is not an appropriate process. I do not think these bylaws should be presented now for consideration. I don't think it's necessary, but if it is, I would like to make a motion to table this at this time, because I do not think these are in any way, shape, or form ready for consideration by the board. That's all I have.
What we have on the agenda is for a consideration and discussion. It is not a resolution to adopt. And so this is the moment for us to have.
I move that
I'm
we
sorry.
table this discussion because we have other
Okay.
business. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were done. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine.
I'm sorry, Mr. Perry and other board members, but I do want to have a chance to have discussion,
Yeah, I was
given
like,
that
that's
we
what
are
this
an
is
open
about.
meeting. And first, I want to commend you and thank you for taking my recommendation seriously last time. This board is really over a year and a half now been meeting without bylaws, and I've raised this many a time. So I'm glad we at least have a draft of bylaws in our possession. I believe that the outside counsel did a good job of taking other state authority bylaws and incorporating that into these bylaws. I recognize that Dr. Gilbert Jenkins, as well as our new counsel, may need some time to review those. But I did have a chance to look at them very closely, and I think we're very close on where we need to be with some tweaks. So I appreciate the work that you did to get us to this point, and I look forward to voting on these next month.
Okay, thank you. Dr. Gilbert Jenkins, do you have any comments? I think I see your hand, please.
I was I was just going to say that with no legal background, I can't comment on the legality of the statements, but I tried to make some comments about just some application of the laws and logistics, and so I submitted those in writing to you, so you have those to share with everyone.
Excellent, thank you. So I am going to say thank you to everyone that's taken the time to review them. We were trying very eagerly to get something before the board so that they would have something to consider and so that we can get a structure in place. We are happy that we have our general counsel at this time and that we will be able to benefit from her input on this body of work, because we really are trying to set up some of the procedures and structures necessary for us to have better governance for ourselves as well as for the agency as a whole. So I look forward to receiving the comments. I hope that we are able to bring this before the board for adoption at our next meeting. So please make sure to submit your written comments so that we can share across the board. So thank you, and I think that we can thereafter move to our next item, which is the last order of business for the day, and it's really just procedural. Pursuant to Article 2, Section 7.7 of the Cannabis Law, the board can grant written permission to staff members of the office to allow them to hold another public office. And may I please have a motion to consider resolution number 2023-07, a resolution permitting Office of Cannabis Management employee Catherine Diaz to hold another public office.
So moved.
May I have a second?
I second.
Thank you. Any comments, questions, concerns?
I have one question.
Yes.
It doesn't say what community board that she is going to be on. As you know, our card licensees and others have to go through the community board to get locations approved. So I just want to make sure that she recognizes she needs to recuse herself in that activity.
I can answer that, Board Member McDaniel. She is becoming the chair of Community Board 12
Okay.
in Manhattan, Harlem.
It's part of Harlem. It's not our location. But it might be some there soon, I think. Or maybe one that's projected. I think it's, yeah. Oh, wait, it might be in 12. So she might be recusing, actually, as I think about it. I think that one's pretty fit. So, Ms. Diaz will be on notice. She will, I believe, take this concern seriously, and she knows that could be a potential conflict. However, bar any other comments or concerns, are there any additional comments related to this resolution before us? If not, I'll call for the vote. Ms. Garcia?
Aye.
Dr. Gilbert Jenkins?
Aye.
Mr. McDaniel?
Aye.
Mr. Perry?
Aye.
And I vote in favor as well. The motion to approve resolution number 2023-07, resolution permitting Office of Cannabis Management employee Catherine Diaz to hold another public office carries. And congratulations on your appointment to be chair of your local community board. And now we'll hear from our executive director for his executive report. Mr. Alexander?
Thank you, Madam Chair. To start, I'll turn it over to Damian Fagan, our Chief Equity Officer, to provide an update.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you to the board. Thank you, Chair. Good morning, everyone. I'd like to share that earlier this month we released the Chief Equity Officer Annual Report, which details the progress made by myself and our team during the 2022 calendar year. This report will, in subsequent years, provide the public with an update on the implementation of the Social and Economic Equity C Plan, which is still currently under development and is set to be released in the first quarter of 2023. The C team has been working to create an equitable and viable cannabis industry. Over the past year, the team has conducted research, engaged with community members, provided regulatory oversight, and developed programs and initiatives in economic development, policy, research, small business support, and business incubation. The development of the C Plan is ongoing, and the work is being done through extensive outreach and engagement with stakeholders, and will result in the development of a comprehensive and adaptable programmatic roadmap to help the office navigate the constantly evolving legal landscape of cannabis. The C Plan will include up-to-date review of nationwide cannabis social equity initiatives, the expansion of the registered organizations serving the medical cannabis program by defining and fulfilling the mandate of the MRTA to better serve the unserved and underserved areas of the state. The development of the C Plan also includes the methodology and mapping of communities disproportionately impacted, or CDIs, which are the geographical areas of New York State most impacted by the disproportionate policing of cannabis under prohibition. To date, the C team has successfully matched approximately 90% of the 1.2 million individual arrest records with the physical location. We started from an initial match rate of approximately 60%. Lastly, the C Plan will include recommendations for the office to improve application support, market access, path to licensure, business development and job training through the provision of technical training and incubator programming. Just last night, we hosted the first webinar of the Office of Cannabis Management's Compliance Training and Mentorship Program, or CCTM. The first cohort is comprised of 173 growers and 50 processors from across the state of New York. The aim of the program was to grow and diversify the pipeline of farmers and processors preparing to participate in New York's adult use cannabis industry. In that regard, the program has been a success. I'm pleased to report that 66% of all CCTM participants would be considered either historically underrepresented in farm ownership or social and economic equity applicants per Section 87 of the cannabis law. Thank you. Given that BIPOC farmers and producers make up just 1.3% of producers in New York State, according to the 2017 Census of Agriculture, the CCTM model shows significant promise at creating space for women and Black and brown New Yorkers to participate in the state's thriving agribusiness sector. Last but not least, I'm pleased to report to the board that of the conditional adult use retail dispensaries approved today, 67 would be considered minority-owned businesses, 14% would be considered women-owned businesses. While the latter number remains low due to the fact that 90% of those arrested for marijuana in New York State over the last 40 years were men, it is significant improvement on the first round. Additionally, 77% of the license recipients today lived within census districts consisting of the lowest median household incomes in the country. Barring any questions, I will hand it back to Chris. Thank you.
Thank you, Damien, and the work that the team has done to ensure equity throughout all of our programs is incredible. I'm constantly impressed and amazed by the level of talent, ingenuity, and creativity that we have on this team, who are continuing to find solutions to solve old problems, which is really what we're trying to do here. So thank you for that. As part of our commitment to build the nation's most equitable cannabis market, OCM has begun to increase outreach and engagement around our proposed regulations. You remember at the start of this work, we had our first cannabis conversations running around the state explaining what the new law was and how we were approaching it. Now, as regulations have been rolled out, we've started sessions to engage with the public to educate folks on what these regulations say. To be clear, we're not answering very specific questions other than translating those regulations into plain talk so that everybody can understand what it is and the approach that we and the board are taking to roll out this market. We're really excited about this effort. I've talked about this at every board meeting, how many public comments we get on every regulatory package. So we're trying to break the record here with our adult use package. We've begun to host sessions already, both virtual and in person, and we'll continue to roll out that schedule. So please stay tuned to our office website, cannabis.ny.gov, for information, as well as our social media pages, NYS_cannabis, for that information. The annual report. So the OCM annual report is one of the several reports mandated in the cannabis law. The purpose of the report is to describe the progress and accomplishments made by the board and the office regarding the implementation of the cannabis law covering this previous year. Writing the report was an agency-wide effort led by the policy team, with staff from every team contributing to the final product. It provides key information and data about our work, from the basic infrastructure to actually operate the agency, like hiring staff and finding office space, to making the first regulated cannabis sale in New York State. The report was submitted to Governor Hochul in the legislature and is also available to the public on OCM's website. We've been excited to see that there's been a lot of interest and engagement with the report so far. And we hope that you all will continue to dive into that and look forward to the updates that come out in the 2023 annual report. As we transition for some exciting updates on the campaigns that we're getting ready to roll out, I'll turn it over to Lila Hunt, OCM's Deputy Director of Public Health and Campaigns.
Thank you, Chris, and good morning, everyone. So leading up to our next campaign, Why Buy Legal New York, which will be launching early in spring, the office will be releasing some short educational videos to share with the public on a variety of different and important topics. And the first video, called The New York Cannabis Story, begins by giving a historical overview of cannabis in New York. New York was once recognized as the cannabis arrest capital of the nation, and as we move forward and build this new industry, it is critical that we recognize the history of cannabis in New York and use it as a framework to do better. So let's play the video to learn more.
While we wait, Mr. Alexander, can you get a better photographer? That's not the best picture of you. You must better looking
It's
than
the
that.
screen grab. It's the screen grab. We promise it's great and it works. All right,
While we are waiting, I do just want to acknowledge that Dr. Gilbert Jenkins is on the line. She's about to depart. She has a hard stop. So I don't know if we're able to bring her up right now, but I did want to acknowledge that she is noted that she has to step away at 11 o'clock. It's 10:59 now. So thank you very much, Dr. Jenkins Gilbert, and we will see you soon.
Yeah, let's keep going.
Thank you very much. I'll look forward to seeing you at the next meeting.
Okay, bye-bye.
We can keep going.
All right, building suspense for the official unleashing of the video following the board meeting. We'll make sure that gets out far and wide. We want to introduce our next update with respect to the Governor's Traffic Safety Committee and a campaign that they're launching and is alive and on the airwaves currently. So as part of our ongoing partnership with the Governor's Traffic Safety Committee, the office has funded a $1 million, 2-month-long traffic safety campaign. This campaign takes the Cannabis Conversations message, "Don't drive high," and it takes it one step further. Campaign advertisements highlight additional messaging around getting a ride or staying put or making a plan following cannabis consumption. Advertisements were developed and released in both English and Spanish and can be seen on billboards across the state, in addition to advertisements found on TV, radio, and digital streaming platforms. Continuing to message around the risks of impaired driving remains a critical component of the office's work and our mission to promote public safety by helping New Yorkers and their roadways stay safer. Thank you, and back to you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. I do have a quick, I want to say
I
thank
have
you
a
for this.
question.
Yes, Member Perry?
Yes, Madam Chair, I don't know if this question is for you or for a staff member, but I was wondering, considering the issues with road safety, with cognitive tests like field sobriety tests or chemical tests that are like a breathalyzer or a blood test for alcohol, would funding that we receive under MARTA allow us to fund research and development into those kinds of things with perhaps some of our research centers? Like I know the State University of New York and a number of the campuses, including SUNY Morrisville, where Professor Gilbert Jenkins is, but throughout the state, are supporting extensive research and want to be part of the solution for these issues. But I wasn't clear, and I didn't do the research myself, as to whether any of the funding we receive, whether designated by the Cannabis Advisory Board or by us, can go to support those research efforts for the purposes of public safety. And I wasn't clear on that, and I would like a commentary from someone on that. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. So I am going to, the office is working on that. It is part of the work that's happening with the Governor's Traffic Safety Task Committee. So I'm going to ask, good night. Lila, if she would please provide a response and also give us some background on the efforts that have been made already to train officials that are doing drug testing and or are obligated to monitor road safety.
Yeah, great questions. Very insightful question from Board Member Perry. I think the reference is specific to the fact that there's no BAC for THC, meaning there's no similar sort of breathalyzer methodology that we have for alcohol. So the best tool that we currently have available at our fingertips is what's called a drug recognition expert, or a DRE. It's essentially the Navy SEALs of the traffic safety workforce. They go through intense, rigorous training, and when pulled onto roadside to detect impairment by cannabis, they go through a series of steps to rule out medical conditions and detect specifically what substance individuals are impaired by. We're proud of the fact that the office has actually funded the expansion of New York State's already really robust DRE program, and working continuously with the Governor's Traffic Safety Committee to continue to expand those efforts and keep New York State's roadways safer. That being said, education is a huge component of this message. Research is a huge component of this effort. And so we're working with the other members. There's 13 state agencies on the Governor's Traffic Safety Committee, including New York State Police, including DMV, including DOH, all who are working together to find a solution and look for additional potential pathways for revenue and research.
Okay, thank you. Can we hold it, because we have 28?
Yeah, we can hold it.
Can we post that just onto the site and people can go to our site and see it? Okay, I'm sorry, you pulled it up. All right, we're ready. Yes, please stand. It's 2 minutes.
Hey guys, welcome to Forward.
Easy Wheel started as my call.
No, that's not it.
No, that's not it.
All right,
We'll come back to it.
we'll come back.
But now we're going to open up for our public comment period. As you all know, each member of the public that would like to address the board during this time is
Hello
asked
Kitty to design really colourful wheel covers for wheelchairs. A video that we made totally blew up and it got 3 million views in a day and 13 million views in a week. And things just...
Okay, perfect. I'm sorry about that. However, I got a little ahead. I'm jumping ahead today. I'm telling you, this is going to be the year of us moving fast, obviously. Before we go into public comment, I would like to ask for a fund update from Member McDaniel, and then we'll go into the public comments.
I guess there's a joke about the year of the rabbit in there somewhere. Yeah, just a quick fund update. We've had some exciting news this week. The first card member who participated in the fund program opened up his shop on yesterday. It was a very exciting moment, and I just want to share, personally for me, all the work we've done. We spent a lot of hard effort and time on this. Seeing Mr. Connor and his family, his wife and his son, get into a business at a location that is a great location to sell cannabis was just really rewarding to me. So 144 Bleecker Street is now open from 10 to 10. It will be open for the next 4 to 5 weeks while we do the design for the permanent shop, pull permits and those things to get construction going. Our goal is to continuously have open shops throughout the city and state while we do the permanent rollout of cannabis. Very exciting. I think our next couple locations will have 1 or 2 in Queens opening up soon. We have one in Ithaca opening up soon. We have one in Albany opening up soon, and another Manhattan site that I'm very excited about. I just got the notice yesterday that is now cleared to open up as well. So over the next 45 days, you'll see these soft openings rolling out. We'll roll them out as quickly as possible. One of the things that is, we know a couple of months ago, Chris, or Mr. Alexander, excuse me, you opened up for fund applicants and card licensees to also look for their own sites. While that has added some complexity to the work that we are doing as far as real estate, it has also demonstrated to us that we have a lot of card licensees that have resources of their own, and some card licensees that would prefer to be in a more boutique area than to be in kind of the major areas. So we're very excited that the retail real estate component of this is actually being accelerated. I've been very hesitant to negotiate or talk about this in public because it's very difficult or sensitive retail location negotiations going on, as well as fundraising negotiations going on. We've talked to a lot of significant investors. We will have some significant funding available for the first 100 to 150 licensees to open up. But I do want to encourage you and the staff that as you're looking at getting people to cure their card licensees, we may want to go beyond the 150. I think there's the opportunity for us to find those licensees who have resources of their own, who may want to, be in locations that are not fund appropriate, but certainly appropriate for the retail distribution of cannabis. And so, just encouraging us all to work together over the next 6 to 9 months, so that we have a really robust rollout of the card licensees throughout the state. And we really have a great way for us to distribute the great cannabis being grown in New York, as well as the expansion. So, really pleased with where the program is. Again, we're doing a lot of this. I don't want to say behind the scenes because it's not behind the scenes, but a lot of it has to be carefully and delicately negotiated for various reasons. So I wish I could tell you more, but I can tell you that seeing Roland and his family's face makes all of this worthwhile. Yeah. We will have the opportunity for a lot more card licensees to be announced. The good news will be that by the time we get to 200, it'll be kind of passé. No one will come out to it. But great demand. We had some nice lines yesterday at Bleecker Street, and certainly encourage all of you to go and kind of see the standard of quality for the pop-ups, as well as there's some pictures there of what the permits will look like. But these will be A+ sites, and I'm really excited about that.
And then Mr. Perry. Sorry.
Oh, sorry.
We're going to go to executive.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
I just wanted to, I may have missed this in an earlier presentation, but a lot of people don't understand, I think, that we are not able to, that the OCM is not able to recommend to the board granting of licenses in the upstate places under the court case. So we want to do those. The office has reviewed the applications and scored them, but we can't actually give them out until the legal issue is resolved. So we're not waiting. The only reason we're waiting for those is because of the federal court ruling. And also it's my understanding that the new batch of licenses that were approved for the card program, that we have a very good level of diversity in that group of applicants, something like 70% people of color. And obviously under the program, they have to all be just as involved. But I just wanted to point that out as a point of clarification and highlight that and make sure and I hope I didn't get anything wrong. But I think that's significant, and I want the public to know that. Thank you. Thank you.
And thank you for highlighting it.
And Mr. Perry, as a corollary to that, we do continue to look for locations in the injunction zone areas, obviously taking a slower approach there. But when the injunctions is lifted at whatever point it is, we will be ready to also sign leases of those locations as well. We've done a lot of work in those locations as well.
Thank you.
And if I may comment, Madam Chair, on
Yes.
what the member just said, that is very important. That you're not just sitting still, waiting for the court case to be resolved. You're still evaluating and accepting and moving ahead, waiting for whatever resolution I understand we hope favorably. But we're not sitting still. We're not waiting around. We're continuing the process, even in the enjoined areas. And I think that's great. Thank you.
Thank you. And Executive Director?
No, we're absolutely moving forward and hope for a speedy resolution on that. I just wanted to, I should have said this earlier during the report, but just, yesterday, day before was both incredible days, seeing this program come to life.
I'm here.
Adam, you had to mute. Seeing this program come to life, I just wanted to thank Board Member McDaniel, your team over at DASNY. We did, we talked about it at the press conference, but there's a lot that goes into doing what has not yet been done, and that's what we're doing every day. And it was an incredible moment. I just wanted to make sure that you knew that Roland's smile, from his nervousness, his joy, it's definitely attributed to, of course, the work of the board, but also your work as the head of this project.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you very much. And I guess at this point, we will shift gears to our public comments. Again, we're asking everyone to please limit their comments to 2 minutes. And your comments should be relevant to something to our agenda items. So you do have the opportunity to submit written comments to the board via our website, and if you do it, it will be included in our meeting minutes. Thank you. So I'm going to begin going down the list. I'm going to call names. I know some of them are not in the room and they have not signed in at the registration desk, but I'm just going to call it, and then we'll move to the next person who's here. Martine Aguiar, Philippe Andre, Nubia Ashley, Suhan Bashir, Hoagie Benjamin, Deborah Borchardt, Dominic Calabrese. I think this is the first person present, Paula Carlotti. All right, please come over there. You have 2 minutes.
Mine is both a comment and a question. So I'm a card applicant, and the process. So my question is: you mentioned today that beyond the first, I guess, 150. That did you say that more card licenses would be issued after the first 150? That's a question.
We did not make that statement, but I also am not in a position to answer questions during this time.
Okay.
So public comment is really for you to make a statement.
Okay, so my statement is that the application process it's not responsive. You know, you like put your application in and then you sit on the edge of your bed and you wait and hope and stuff. So I guess I'm just asking for sort of more transparency. I heard today mention something about a score, so that your application would have a score, like say, for example, information about how that score is calculated and how you might bolster your application through that process. So it's really just maybe there is a source of information, but if not, if there could be more information, transparency about the application process.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. And while we are unable to answer, provide answers to everyone's comments during this period, we do hear it. The office is responsive. They're taking notes, and there are members of staff all around. So please do take this opportunity after the meeting to engage and to follow up on some of your concerns. Angelo Castelli, Alessandra Cotone, Tavian Cross, Pilar is not here, Pilar de Jesus, Naomi Diaz, Arnard Dumas Duroli, Patrice Edwards, Eyal Itin, David Feder, Mike Flynn, Michael Gant. Is Michael here? Please, your opportunity. So we are going in alphabetical order on this list. So just so you can kind of prepare yourself. And I think the next person is Mayank Kapoor, who's in the room. So you'll be following him. However, I will read the other names in case we've missed anybody.
Okay. My name is Michael Gann. I'm a card applicant. I just want to thank you guys for having me here in this opportunity. I'm truly grateful to be from off the street corner here. I mean, I can remember some times when I was out there trying to provide some food for my family, and the jump out squad would come and just take me away, Similac milk, all that. I did 10 days in prison while my baby was being born, and now I'm sitting here in front of you guys. I just want to say thank you for the work that y'all are doing. I'm truly grateful to be here, and I respect everything that y'all are doing. Just thank you. That's it.
Thank you. Marina Gerard, Jeffrey Hoffman. Oh, you are? Please, you can go, and then maybe after Jeffrey. Okay. Taniqua Hunt, Ahmad Jamal, Lynetta Jeffers, Bernard Jenkins. Please.
Perfect. Thank you. My name is Jeffrey Hoffman. I'm an attorney here in New York City. I shopped at the Smack store yesterday.
What I didn't hear you say is that you bought treats for everyone.
I did not buy treats for everyone, but if you want to meet me outside after the meeting, happy to smoke you out. So this is what equity looks like, right? You awarded licenses today to licensees who were previously convicted of cannabis crimes. I shopped at a store yesterday that is owned by a black gentleman. How many black-owned dispensaries are there in this country? Like, you could probably count them on one hand. I mean, I know there's a few more, but not a lot. This is what equity looks like. So congratulations to this board, to the OCM, to the legislature, to the governor, everyone that made this happen. This is what it looks like. And also congratulations on having a GC today. That is an incredibly important position, as you well know. Unbelievably qualified person, so kudos to you for selecting the individual that was hired. The last comment that I do want to make, and the comment was already made a little bit earlier today, I personally know card applicants that chose to submit their card application fee rather than their full rent for a month. Okay. I know there's only so much information you can give them. I know you are overwhelmed. You need double, triple, quadruple the number of staff you have. But whatever you can do to reach out to these other card applicants that are waiting, any information you can give them, that I know they would appreciate it, and just I personally would. I mean, who am I? But I would appreciate it. They deserve as much information as you can give them, and I know there's a limit, but as much information as you can give them, I think they do deserve, and I think you think that. So I just think it would be great. Whatever you can do, let them know, and thank you.
Thank you. Mayank. Mayank. Good morning.
Now I'm on, right? Good morning. My name is Mayank Kapoor. I just want to make a comment on delivery guidance we spoke about previously. The one thing that I realized after sitting on a couple of Zoom calls with Dutchy, the POS provider, BioTrack, which is going to be the way we're going to track things in the future, and On Fleet, which is how we're going to be watching these deliveries that go out, there's a little bit of a security concern, which I feel like we could address by possibly recording audio or video when a driver goes out, is getting a signature from a customer that they're delivering to, which they have to anyway. It's a part of the protocol. It would be nice if that little locator could just start recording audio or video the moment they leave, so that you can kind of make sure and have an oversight of the interaction that's happening, which we really have no oversight of when somebody's out there. So if somebody goes to meet the customer, we have no idea what's happening between them, besides if the customer signs and they got their product. But if there's a complaint, if a driver decides to give out his own phone number, if a crime occurs somewhere in the mix, somebody gets robbed, it would be nice if there was a way to record the interaction to know exactly what happened. That's my only comment for today.
Okay, thank you. Christopher Coolin, Eric Leapart.
Who was next?
Renee Lindo, Car Smart.
We have someone here.
I don't know. Who is this?
You called my name. My name's Mike Flynn.
Yes,
Mike
you
Flynn.
were called. Sorry.
Okay, thank
Didn't
you.
hear you respond. I'm sorry.
Okay. Hello, everyone. My name's Mike Flynn. I'm the owner of Flintstone Cannabis Company out of Syracuse, New York. I'm also a card applicant. I just wanted to come here today to say thanks for all the hard work that you guys have been putting in to building this industry from the ground up and allowing us who are affected by the war on drugs to have the first opportunity to open a legal dispensary. I bought a 13,000 square foot building in downtown Syracuse Armory Square, and I got right to work building it in 2021. And I've actually set it up as a cannabis museum, educating the public on history of marijuana, educational resources. We got 14 bud tender stations, 32 display cases for products, as well as a 3,400 square foot separate area for on-site consumption. So I'm wondering if we can get some more clarification on the on-site consumption procedures. Have regulations been made on how to operate the area? For example, can the customers buy the products and then go to the on-site to consume, or do they have to be served in the location itself? And that's all I have to say today. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Cost. Okay, Cost.
My name is Klaus Marte, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of Combud, and I founded Combody, where we've hired over 50 people coming out of the prison system to work on my retail and my gyms in Manhattan. I'm proud to say that I've been operating for almost 10 years and have a 0 recidivism rate. As someone who really bear the bones and really have gained PTSD from the Giuliani era, and as I was arrested at 13 for 2 nickel bags in front of my family, and 8 other times of the Bloomberg stop and risk era, I see my mom, a Dominican immigrant, literally take 9-hour bus drives to come visit me in prison for this stuff that we're legalizing right now. I'm here to say thank you. I'm truly grateful that this moment has come today, where while seeing black and brown people that look like me to build this cannabis industry the right way, and to really create the system to create generational legacy. But yesterday I woke up at 4 a.m. ready to support a fellow card applicant who's part of the Card Coalition, rolling from SMAC to witness history. And I was the first one online. And I kept refreshing the agenda for this meeting, and I did not see that name, application number 13, which I've been working so hard, as you see me in all these meetings. And I was very disappointed to not see my name. But as Damien and Chris say, be patient. So I'm gonna be patient. But as a co-founder of the Card Coalition, we'd like the OCM to release all card application scores. We're not understanding the self-grading Rubik system of yours. And if I had to grade myself correctly, I should have scored a 97.5, which should have been one of the top greatest individuals. So please be transparent, give us our scores, and let us know what our grade is. This is like taking the SATs and you said you did good, but I want to know my score. Am I going to make it at Harvard? But finally, I just want to thank you for this opportunity, and I want to congrats everybody who won and is awarded that card licensee. I love everybody here. I love the community, so I appreciate y'all, and I hope we could get this industry popping the right way. Thank you.
Christian Molika, Cheryl Murray Powell, and Cheryl will be followed by Osbert Orduna. Sorry, I mispronounced your last name.
Thank you. Hi, good morning, everyone. My name is Cheryl Murray Powell, Esquire. I spoke last time, but I'm a cannabis, agricultural, dietary supplement, and trade attorney, and I run the Justice Foundation, which is based in Harlem, New York. I also work for CSI as a business development manager, and I created the first social equity verification product for regulators. With that said, congratulations to our new licensees. This is such an exciting time to be alive. Know that there is a village for you, and the adult use licensees are starting to organize, so you have support. To the OCM, congratulations on being really consistent with your word with regards to pacing and for showing the level of diversity that is reminiscent of what we see in the legacy industry. On this list of new licensees, again, we're seeing Justice Fellows, and again, we're seeing our legacy community. This fills my heart with joy. It was referenced earlier by Damien that the OCM cannabis compliance training and mentorship program started yesterday. We have 14 Justice Fellows on the list of accepted people into that program, which we are hoping will be a pipeline into licensure. So thank you for that opportunity. It means the world to our guys. With that said, as we move forward, we have heard from regulators across the country and the OCM that with the recognition of legacy, what is difficult is how do we define it. So yesterday I was in San Antonio at the ASTM International meeting. I sit on their executive board for D37, and I chair the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Subcommittee. And that was the first time introduced in a committee week where we introduced a definition for legacy operators for global adoption. So I will keep you posted on that activity. Again, congratulations to the new licensees, and I'm looking forward to what is next as one community.
Thank you. Osbert, please.
Hi, good morning, everyone. My name is Osbert Orduña. I am co-chair of the National Hispanic Cannabis Council, New York chapter. I also serve on the National Cannabis Industry Association Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee. I'm here today as an individual. I would like to thank the New York State Office of Cannabis Management for all of their continued efforts to create a cannabis industry that focuses on creating opportunities for justice-involved individuals, persons who were collateral damage in the war on drugs in communities that were disproportionately impacted, minorities, women, and service-disabled veterans. I'm proud to share that I am part of a newly blessed card licensee team that was just announced today. Our team is justice involved. We are comprised of individuals from multiple races, multiple religions, from disproportionately impacted communities. And I'm proud to say that I believe we're the first cord licensee to actually have ownership that is service disabled veteran as well. Our team looks forward to the opportunity to open our dispensary in Queens. So my Queens people here, Queens represent. Can I get that? I want to share that our team will be launching our dispensary as a UFCW unionized shop, creating unionized cannabis careers, making history in New York as potentially the first card applicant and the first dispensary to launch as a unionized shop, bringing economic empowerment, true living wage opportunities back to Queens, back to the communities that have been left behind and forgotten during cannabis prohibition. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next, Christopher Paggi, Heidi Palmer. I don't think they're here. Kavita Pari Sanchez. Is Ms. Sanchez? Oh, okay. And after her, we'll hear from, I believe it's going to be Hunter Severini. Okay. Kavita.
Hi, everyone. My name is Kavita Paria Sanchez, and I'm with Cannabis, a newly birthed organization in the South Bronx. I believe we're the only grassroots organization in the city focusing on cannabis equity. Really excited to be here. We co-hosted a listening session with OCM a couple of weeks ago, and a lot of the thoughts that I'm bringing here today come out of that listening session with many, many legacy operators, folks who had previous convictions. I really just appreciate y'all's work. I think you're visionaries. You're the right people to do this. We're breaking ground. I think y'all have a gargantuan task in making this all real. We really trust and respect the work that you're doing, and that's not something that I think you hear from the grassroots often. And of course, we have thoughts to share. Which is exactly what we are meant to do, right? And we know you want to hear it. I wouldn't waste my time if you didn't. So we have some concerns that I'll share both about implementation and the regs, the comments process in particular. So in terms of, and I'll start with the regs. In terms of the regs, as we comb through those 283 pages, we think that some of the eligibility criteria will really create significant barriers. And, we'll of course get into what we think those concerns are in our comments, as well as a lot of questions we have. But I think at the outset, we feel like some of those regs really undermine our collective goals. As a result, and this is my second thought, I think there's 19 days till the deadline, and it is just not enough time. And I'm sure you're facing this as well, collecting real, authentic feedback from the community takes time, and I think as organizers, we always have our hands full, and doing that work is not easy. I'm sure we know y'all working at breakneck speed. The comments did come out before the holidays, and as a result, we lost time in really making sure we're really engaging our communities in terms of what this means, because we do see these regs.
Excuse me,
as
I'm
make or
sorry.
break.
You've already hit the 2-minute mark, so we have to ask you to wrap it up so that we can call the next people on the list.
We
Thank
see
you.
this as make or break, and so if there is a possibility of more time or other opportunities, I think that would be hugely meaningful to what actually happens here. And then again, on implementation, on how this rolls out, let's slow down. Let's slow down so we can get it right. And I know that's hard for me to say.
We're going to have
That's
to ask
hard.
you to submit those comments in writing to the office, because They are comments to the regulation package. Comments for the regulations are received in writing to the office via our email address. So we're going to ask you to please do that. And we do have to respect everybody else's time in the room. And you've had your 2 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you. Looking forward to collaborating.
Bazaar Royal, Jillian Selch, Hunter Severini. Am I saying that properly? Is Hunter here? Okay, and then they'll be followed by Ruchir Shah, Elizabeth Smith, Thomas Spanos, and then Bruce Sturman. Is Bruce here? All right, you'll be following him. Thank you.
I just wanted to say congratulations to the car holders. I wanted to say congratulations to the OCM. I ain't going to keep this brief. My name is Bazaar Royale. I'm the founder of the Brooklyn Bazaar, and I'm looking forward to some good news soon come. I'm here to support everybody on all sides.
Is Bruce making his way? Sorry. And he'll be followed by Suzanne Stetzer and Lynette Townsley. So you can make your way over to the mic as well.
Good morning. My name is Bruce Sturman. I'm the Director of Operations for the New York City Cannabis Industry Association. And I have a comment and a question about the testing regarding what cannabis impairment is in terms of driving. For us, it has been a trope of the prohibitionists that, given the articles that I've read, there are no statistics that support it. So I'd like to know what statistics there are that New York State is looking at in order to put forward a public information campaign about drunk driving under cannabis, whatever that turns out to be. I think that we need to know the science of that, and it needs to be based on statistics. I'd like to be able to send the articles that I have to the board or to the staff that is looking at doing this public campaign. Thank you.
Thank you. Lynette, is Lynette still here? Okay, please make your way, followed by Namdi Ukasoyana, George Valenzuela, Mahid Washington, Jonathan Whitaker.
Good afternoon. My name is Lynette Townsley. Congratulations to the card holders. Congratulations to the team here. I'm the Community Board 12 Youth Committee Chair and the Secretary for the NAACP Jamaica branch. At our public hearing for the Community Board, we were shocked to hear that one of our residents saw a tractor trailer and they were selling marijuana, so they went to the police. And the police was saying that it was nothing that they could do about it. But they did realize that whoever was in a tractor trailer, they did have a medicinal license, but not for that location. So I hope that you could look at, and I'll give you the information, maybe to pull their license, because they shouldn't be able to just go anywhere they want. Also, on our youth committee, I was shocked to hear the precincts on Jamaica Avenue. Some of the young adults have a table, marijuana, selling it, and the police are standing right there. And the response of the police, well, we can't do anything because we can't lock them up or we can't arrest them. I think that goes back to the problem why we're here now. The police should not feel that they can't communicate. Say, hey, young king, that's not right. You can't do this. But for them to feel that they can't say anything, if your committee can work with the police department, because this is like an ongoing thing. And we want the police to understand and build that relationship that start with a conversation, not just locking up. Lastly, I'll say, I know we've been having a lot of problems with the bikers. And one of the bikers, Leaky the Bike Star, has been on America's Got Talent Extreme, and he's very talented, as you can see, most of the bikers, but it is a safety issue. So I'm hoping that we can use maybe some of these funds that we raise to maybe find land in New York City. As we know, upstate Long Island, they have bikers, but this is something that's really engaging for our youth. So if you could consider that. Thank you.
Okay. Jonathan Whitaker. All right. Take your way. And now it's the last person.
How you doing? My name is Jonathan Whitaker out of Long Island, from one of the co-founders for Lifted Essentials. I just want to congratulate everybody. Everybody pretty much said, some of the things I had questions about. But after being incarcerated, having hardships, for marijuana, and to be standing here as a licensed owner is due to the power of God. So God bless everybody. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And I would like to, no, we have a rule. I'm sorry. So the process for speaking at the meeting is posted, is shared with our meeting notice. It includes that you have to pre-register. And as you see, we always have a very lengthy list of people that would like to speak. So we really want to stay with it. And currently it's 2 minutes. As the number of people grow, we might end up reducing that. But we want to make sure that people have an opportunity. So please do sign up beforehand. However, I want to say thank you, everyone, for participating today. Your comments are much appreciated, and it's always helpful for us to hear from the public what they're thinking about, so we get a better understanding on a wide range, obviously, a wide range of concerns. This brings us to the end. I want to just ask you to please note that the time, location, and the live stream link will be shared on cannabis.ny.gov in advance of the next Cannabis Control Board meeting. As well, a recording of today's meeting, our meeting minutes, and a transcription will be posted. May I please have a motion to adjourn this meeting?
So moved.
Second? Second. Any questions, comments, concerns? Hearing none, call for the vote. All in favor? Aye. This motion to adjourn, this meeting carries. Thank you much, and we are all adjourned.